What's up, fam? And welcome to episode 10.
Already.
10
of them. Sawbuck.
We're gonna do at least for this season. We'll do at least 15 episodes, and then they'll be our summer episodes, and hopefully we'll be outside by a pool.
Not in our backyard.
Not in our backyard. Although I have had a pool in my backyard before.
Yeah, the little one.
Whatever happened to that? Did you throw that away?
No, I don't know what happened to it. Why would I throw it away? I bought it. Why would I throw it away if I bought it?
Gianna, did you lay in that pool with me?
Yeah. I sent the picture to Poppy. He goes, "Oh, we'll build one. We'll build one."
Lies.
Not lies. I think I still have the receipts.
Not from you. I'm repenting myself.
Yeah, he's saying he lied. Anyway, so those of you that joined us last week, we talked and touched a little bit on social media and, just the not really like the pros and cons, but, the dangers of social media in marriage.
Yeah, and if you came back, that means we didn't offend you too much.
So welcome back.
And hopefully you had the conversations that we talked about, right? Transparency, time on the phone when you're with your spouse.
Have you created time and space in your household that you can, where you can create more of a safe environment? So we thought, you know what, this week we're going to talk about that a little bit. When it comes to the dangers of social media and getting wrapped up in the roommate life, because we talked about that last week too, again, it's almost like you're living a separate life. So what are you hiding? What is there that needs to be, out in the open, so that you don't have to live a roommate life? So we wanted to touch a little bit on, trust and security when it comes to, these lovely devices that we carry around everywhere with us, and our laptops and everything else. What can we do to build more security? Really better emotional security, because a lot of us tend to, escape in our phones, in social media and all that other stuff, because we're escaping reality. We're either doom scrolling or we're searching for something in desperation of finding something else that could help us. Like you had touched on the get rich quick schemes that are out there. And, for all of $97, how many of those have you seen? $97, you can have this new life and make $10,000 a month.
Yeah, in 3 minutes.
It's crazy. So we wanted to touch on that today.
Doom scrolling. What is that?
I do it sometimes.
What does that mean? What is that though?
Sometimes.
What is it when something bad happens?
No, doom scrolling is what mommy does on a Sunday when she's laying in her bed and scrolls for maybe 3 or 4 hours.
Gianna, stop putting my life out there.
That's what doom scrolling is, though. It's when you're laying down just scroll and scroll and scroll.
But the way that I look at it, though, like some people would sit and watch movies for 3 and 4 hours at a time, right? I know a person, and I'm not going to name her name, but she knows who she is and she watches. So you're my girl. But, to me, I feel like I just go down all these rabbit trails. And you know what? Be quiet, little girl, because you do the exact same thing.
I never said that I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah. And
I don't know why they call it doom scrolling, because I'm not like in a doom while I'm doing it.
No, because doom, like you're doomed. Like you're doomed. You're doing nothing with your life and you're just scrolling.
You're just stuck on there doing that. Well,
yeah.
I guess you had the best time when it was football season then.
Yeah,
and I was downstairs watching 2 or 3 football games. And
and you know what? There was some times where I would see videos that I was not alone, that I was not the only one that thought about that, because there would be videos where women would be like, yes, it's football Sunday, and the most exciting time for me is grabbing my blanket, snuggling in my bed, and scrolling on my phone for hours. And That's the truth.
So
but you know what?
6 to 9 hours sometimes.
Okay.
I watched 3 football games.
I take church naps in between.
Hey, look,
Whatever.
I'm not condemning you. I'm just saying that's
the way that Gianna had put it out there, she makes it seem like
I was just saying
horrible.
The reality of it is that could be anywhere between 3 to 9 hours.
That
The
means
reality of it is
more and more cows and goats.
okay. All right. So we also talked about setting a spiritual time, right? Because we talked about communication, commitment, and sharing faith. And so we talked about not only talking about and communicating about our need to less social media and more social with your family, right?
Yeah.
And then I think you ended with, we didn't do our worship time, and you had somewhat of a
Yeah, I had a rough day.
challenging day. And again, if that's something that you want to hear more about, you can send us an email at Created to Lead LLC.
And I just wanted to just touch on that for a second. I don't want to go like in a whole little, loop-de-loo here, but I really do feel like just like it's important for us to have, like consistency in our house, and what's the word I'm looking for? And like a regular rhythm. It's important for us, not only for us to have that mindset with our kids, but I think it's a good mindset to have as an adult and as a married couple. Like, we know that on every Sunday we're sitting down and we're doing our calendar and we're getting ready for the week and we're resetting the house, and like getting into a regular rhythm and having a schedule is extremely important. And there's so many couples that we will talk to and we'll ask them that question and they'll look at us like a deer in headlights, like, no, we don't do that. Well, you need to start doing that. Yeah. Because that rolls into a lot of other different type of discussions that you could quite possibly be having that you are avoiding because you're both going in separate, your separate ways, and you have your own, calendars on your phone or whatever. We share calendar time. We share, all of that, so that we both know exactly what we're doing, where we're doing, and how we're doing it. So, and I think that kind of goes right into what we wanted to talk about today when it comes to, emotional security and trust and all that good stuff.
So that also ties with some of the words that we've adapted for 2026, which are intentionality and consistency. Intentionality and consistency. Those things are important in all the different aspects of our lives, right? So yeah. So what are we talking about today?
Well, I just said it.
Say it again.
We're talking about piggybacking. I know you love that.
Okay.
What's the other way you would say it if you don't say piggybacking?
Adding to, in addition to, adding to, there's another word.
There is another phrase to say instead of piggybacking, but we are just kind of going to connect what we talked about last week, because I really don't think that we touched on the emotional aspect of what social media can do in a marriage. If you don't start to target that now, if you don't start to talk about that now, it can cause, some major damage in your marriage. So when it comes to emotional security, I did want to start it off, and we did mention that in the last one about that we wanted to ask each other questions to start off the conversation. And so my first question to you is, what makes you feel emotionally safe with me?
Your loyalty since we first started dating. There was something inside of me that knew that you were the one that you were. I also see the way you are with your friends and how loyal you are to your friends, and since you're loyal to them, sometimes to a fault, I know that you will be loyal to me to a fault. It's just who you are. It's just embedded in your soul and in your spirit that when you love hard and you love for real. And so it made it easy for me to submit, and allow you access to my heart. And then as we grew together, as my, infidelity and porn addiction and all of these things started to come out, how gracefully you handled it and loved me. And I'd be a fool to ever think about leaving you or what we've created together.
Good answer.
Yeah.
That's a great answer. Yeah. So when it comes to that specific question, if couples were to ask themselves that in correlation to the social media aspect. Like, do I make you feel emotionally safe based off of, and we talked about it a little bit, but when it comes to, you know,
Oh, your scroll.
yeah.
So there are some things that I just don't agree with, and most of them are not necessarily what you concentrate on, but it's in between one thing that you like, goats and cows or whatever, and then somebody with a curse word that just pops up out of nowhere. I think there's no filters that are available to cancel one from the other. I don't know because I don't really do social media that often like that. So that's one of the things that frustrates me, because you scroll up mine, it'll be praise God, hallelujah, Jesus lives, and yours is, oh, cute cow, you mother. Come on, true or not true?
I don't know that they've ever said like that.
Come on. You haven't had curse words come
Oh
up
yeah, I've had
in
a
my
curse.
okay, so that's a curse word.
Okay, well,
So I'm just saying, and again, I think 75 to 85% of what you scroll, what you watch, cool, fair, funny, amusing to you, makes you laugh all the time. Sometimes I do get jealous. Like, how could she find this stuff so pleasing, where she's literally yakking her guts off, and it's so funny. And I did used to like the guy who used to try to speak Spanish and stuff like that. So those are funny, right? And I laughed as hard as you did for those. But some of the stuff you go, oh, check this, I'm like, all right.
well, because our humor is not the same, Velasquez. You are a
You're
very
defending yourself.
no.
You're
I'm
defending
not.
yourself.
I'm not offended.
Yes. So then why are you defending yourself?
No, but I'm just saying that our humor is different because
I said that from the beginning.
Gianna will show me some things and she's like, "That's really funny. Why aren't you laughing?" And
Well,
it's
you show me things and they're not funny. So we all don't have the same humor.
Exactly.
Sometimes you send me something and it's funny, and sometimes I send you something and they're hilarious.
And
why
she
are
just
mine
thinks
just
it's
funny
okay.
and yours are hilarious?
Because I have the best sense of humor.
no.
And she's very humble.
Yeah, seriously.
So scrolling is a stress reliever for you. It brings joy into your heart. I remember when was it the Boys to Men concert was coming, and almost every other thing was a Boys to Men thing. And so you can tell how social media though is designed to cater to whatever it is that you click on, whatever you listen to. The unfortunate thing is that in between there, they try to sneak in other things. I had TikTok way back, and I had to cancel. I said, babe, every time you send me a TikTok, I get your TikTok, and then it's a woman's breast. And so you don't remember me? That's why I canceled it. I had to take it off because it was almost immediately. The next one, it was like, hey, or whatever. So I was like, you know what? I have it now only because you need to find Mochi Mine, right?
Mochi and me.
Mochi and me. Like Mochi and me.
Mochi and me, and like, subscribe, send money to Mochi and me.
Send money is crazy.
Send money.
Send money so that he can get a friend for Mochi.
Yes, there you go. You want a little Mochi and me and my friend, because they're not cheap. But I do enjoy, and I love to hear you enjoying yourself on social media 75% of the time.
So what do you think? Do you think that there are signs, like if there are people trying to hide something from their spouse, what do you think the signs would be?
Oh, just totally earbuds on all the time. That's an easy way to do whatever it is you want in the dark. Earbuds on all the time, or phone is off when your husband's around, or your wife, and phone is on when you're on when you're all alone.
Here's another one that I feel like you hated it. Do you remember this, Gianna? When your dad would hate it when you and Lewis would have your screens on so dark?
Oh, yeah. Or when I had my private screen.
Yeah.
And you could only see from a certain.
I didn't. You know what? I never mistrusted you, Gianna.
I'm just perfect.
I didn't.
Well, Louis, if you're watching this,
no,
just
and
kidding.
I can tell you why. It's because I'm a man, and I know what men get into. And she's a young girl. She was a young girl, so I know what young girls will get into, right?
Well, I'm just using that as an example. Like that's another thing because there is those screensavers
Well,
now
right
that
now,
are privacy screens.
The next Samsung has got that built in.
Oh yeah, where you can like hide your messages.
Yes.
And it's like if someone's looking over your shoulder, you can't see the message.
Can't see the message at all. Yep.
See, I think that
Samsung
there's
is
like
good.
there's some good factors to that because like those that are riding the trains and being on a plane, you don't want creeps just kind of looking over your shoulder and reading what you're doing because that does happen. But again, that could be a negative if we're trying to build transparency in a marriage.
If they're looking over my shoulder, they may get saved. They may get saved. Oh, what is that? Hallelujah.
Wow, you're too holy for us, Velasquez.
But that's what I'm doing on there. I promise you, that's all I'm doing is trying to find, something comes to my mind like, oh, how can I put together a sermon for that or a teaching for that? All right. So we talked about communication, commitment, and shared faith. I would categorize when we're getting ready to have either a conversation about social media that we have to treat it with kid gloves, right, to make sure that the other person's not offended, because at the end of the day what we want to do is to come to one accord where there's complete transparency.
Yeah.
First of all, secondly, that there's a shared time, there's time set aside for us to be together. And I'm not going to say 75% of the time you're with me and 25% of the time you're here, or 50-50. We're not going to do that, but there has to be a very clear schedule as to when we're going to have our time together.
Yeah.
And I think, and then our time with God. If both of those things are outlined, everything in between, have at it, right?
Yeah.
And then, no phantom codes to get in, no, different symbols that need to be done in order to access your phone. Your phone should be openly accessible to your spouse no matter what.
Are we like old people? Because I think both of us, like our codes to get into our phones are what?
Our birthdays. But that's
Ooh,
okay.
You guys should not be saying that on the interwebs.
Why?
Because.
Hey, look, my banks are FDIC approved. So if they go in there, find my bank account, try to take my money's covered. So I'm not worried about that. And so and here's the deal. The king that I serve is stronger and brighter and more attentive to my things than I am. So I'm not worried about that.
Now I'm thinking I'm going to change mine. But
Okay.
I'll share it with you.
All right.
It'll be like Gianna's birthday.
Bro, don't be saying that on the interwebs.
So I have the love of Jesus Christ and the way he died on the cross as the bridegroom, right? He conquered sin, death, hell, and grave. So the Bible tells us that I should love you the way Christ loved the church. So those are big shoulders, right? So we do, as men, we got to start living a life that we are a huge blessing of assurance and security for our wives. Whenever we use these devices for anything other than effective communication and enriching and enhancing your life with your family or your life with your spiritual life, then what you're doing is you're creating a wedge, and you do not want that wedge. Every woman wants to feel safe. Mm-hmm. Every woman wants to feel secure, right? Which is why I believe it's very important for every man to have a job, right? To have a job or a very clear way that they can bring income into the homes. They don't have to be the main breadwinner, but there has to be income coming into the home, because that's what helps a woman feel secure. If your woman feels secure, you would be surprised how many things that you can ask them to do that they would automatically say no back in the day, but they feel secure enough, like, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna be out of town for 3 weeks doing work. And you would say,
Have fun and buy me something.
on the way back? No, a nomad. Mm-hmm. On your way back, we stop at the
Two
airport.
things. Give me my perfume and get me
Chocolates.
Yes.
The,
Toblerone.
Toblerone. Yep,
Toblerone.
two things. Very simple. I'm a very simple lady.
Yeah,
Safe.
one of those simple things is almost over $100.
It's closer to 200, but
Exactly.
anyways.
I said over $100.
That perfume is not that expensive.
Yes.
Mommy.
It's almost, it's
My
$200. Anyway.
perfume is $80.
Anyway, that safety and security has come because you have access, because we have conversation, because there's nothing that you don't have access to in my life anywhere.
Yeah.
So-
And it hasn't always been that way because I do remember like when we were dating. Do you remember those days?
Yep.
He would go and take a shower.
Bring the phone with me.
No, you wouldn't. There was times where you still had it on the charger and I was beep boop bop boop beep.
Mommy, you were that girlfriend?
Stalker.
I was that girlfriend.
No, not even stalker.
Breaking
That's
news.
toxic.
This is breaking news. Because
Why?
I don't remember that. I don't remember you ever telling me about that.
Oh, I wasn't going to tell you. I'm not a dummy.
So here we are 20 years later, 22 years later, and you're telling me now.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know you at all.
Well, no,
Velasquez.
babe. You
I'm
got
out of here.
No, you got mad at me. You got mad at me once. I remember this clearly. Let us all go back in time, Gianna. Give us a sound like we're going back in time. So we were at the coach house.
Yes.
And
lovely
this
coach house.
this was not too far after this was right around the time when you had some nice marks that were left on your car at the time.
Yes.
And so I was going through your phone. You were in the shower and I was going through your phone and I got so mad because you said in a text message to this individual, we're not going to have a conversation until you explain why you left these hater marks. And back in the day for me, hater marks was a different thing. What was a hater mark back in the day?
Oh, hickey.
A hickey. And so I was like, what? And I think fire came out of my ears and I couldn't hold it back. So when he got out of the shower, I was like, what the heck is this? Who are you giving hater marks to? Well, I knew who, but I'm not going to say this on the interwebs. And I was like, who are you giving hater marks to? That's it. I can't trust you. This is not going to work. Da, da, da. And then you were like, babe, I was talking about the key scratches that she left on my car 2 nights prior or whatever. And I was like, oh.
Which you were there.
Which I already knew about. So I was like, dang it. So
Bucky, you were exposed.
So my
Yeah,
my
sneakiness.
my sneakiness and my investigation went south and it didn't it didn't land the way that I wanted it to land. Right. So again, and back then there wasn't transparency like we have now because there was a lot of times where he did take his phone with him to the bathroom or wherever he was going because he had something to hide.
Okay.
But now we talk about how
Yeah.
that's the biggest that's the biggest red flag in marriage if you're not being transparent, and if we're talking and staying on subject of what we're talking about, if you guys don't know the codes to the phones and can look through it with security, knowing that like I can hand him my phone right now and he can look in it and he's not going to find nothing. As a matter of fact, he's probably going to find things that I have in carts somewhere ready to be purchased.
As usual.
But that's about it.
Yeah. So Dr. Miles Monroe says a real man measures his success by how safe and valued his wife feels. So my first question to you is, how am I doing, and when did you feel the safest? When did you feel safe? When did you finally feel safe after going through my phone like a sneaky?
Is this going to be a thing now?
Yep, I'm writing that down in my memory, in my records of wrong.
I think the moment that we had, the pivotal moment for me was sitting in Yaya's, sitting in that booth, and me being able to like ask you the question and kind of giving you the definition of why I needed you to put, words to things and being open in sharing with me, because you were so closed off in the fact that you mentioned it even last week on, I just didn't want to tell you things that I was in fear of continuing to still hurt you. But I would give you the reassurance that it no longer hurts me. What hurts me is that you fail to open up to me in that way. And the minute that you started to share your transparency and, and I think the moment where I had grabbed your phone once and I was like going through it and you were just kind of, I don't remember what you were doing. I think you were like, oh, can you respond to this text message? And I responded to the text message and I was like looking around and you had like no response to it. Before, if I had his phone in my hand, he would like grab it out of my hand right away. Or what do you need to see in there? There's nothing to see in there. There's nothing, whatever. But I think that, you were able to create that environment for me the moment that you started to be open and free with your words.
Yeah.
That's when I started to feel the safest, and giving me the reassurance that I needed to feel safe with you, because there was moments where I remember having conversations, or more so arguments, telling you like, I don't trust you with my feelings. I don't trust you with my questions because you never give me the response that I'm looking for. Yeah. It's always like, well, I was a bad man, or that was in the past. What do we need to talk about that for? Like, what is that going to do? But it does do something, if there was something emotional going on, especially like on your phone, let's just talk about it. Cause there's been moments where we've had conversations with people on, people having emotional affairs via their phone, via Messenger, via whatever, WhatsApp.
For weeks, months.
For weeks,
say sometimes years.
Yeah, for weeks and months at a time. That sucks the security. That sucks the trust right out of your household. Yeah. And there's a lot of work that needs to be put back into it to mend those broken places. And we made, we talked about covenant last week, but we made a commitment to each other that no secrets. Yeah. There's no secrets in this house. There's no secrets on our phone. There's no secrets in our passwords, and there's no secrets in those areas.
Yeah. 100% transparency is where the healing begins.
Yeah.
100% transparency. What Liz is talking to is I cheated, and for a very long time I just said, "Oh, I was a bad man," or "I hurt her." We would even do our testimonies, and instead of saying, "Hey, I had an extramarital affair with someone," right? I had an extra, but. And even now, as I'm talking about it, I still feel uncomfortable. But it's not because I don't want to be transparent. It's because I don't want to hurt you. And I feel I know the power of words. Words have the power to build up or to destroy. And I always try to measure. I really do try to measure. Sometimes you may think I'm slow just because I'm slow. But I'm not slow. I just want to make sure that the words that come out of my mouth are pointing people to Christ and not to the enemy. And so I really want to make sure that I don't hurt anybody and bring a bad testimony to the Lord, and especially someone that I love and care for so deeply. So I really did mask what had happened and what was going on. I want to say the first real breakthrough was in the Dominican when
2018
when we shared our testimony to the Dominican people, and that it started.
That was in 2022.
That it started the healing process and accelerated the healing process.
Yeah, and I mean there was already a lot of healing that happened there. Yeah. And babe, I want to reassure you that I get that there's still a little bit of a twinge when you say it, but there's nothing on this end because the person that you are today is nothing like or nowhere near the man that you were back then. So I almost feel like, that person's gone.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I agree 100%.
Yeah.
But there's something in your consciousness that still condemns you. And I know that that's not what God wants for me. And that's not what God wants for any of us that have repented and that have reconciled. When we repent and we reconcile, He wants to clean the slate clean. But the person that is the most important to me is you. The most important person in my life is you. And so anyways, I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
All right. So here's the deal. So there was that. How do spouses create, well, we already talked about that. How so? So you feel the safest now, and starting since that conversation we had at Yaya's. Okay.
And that came prior to everything else because I was yearning for him to, to put words to things because so often I like knew things, but you know, but again, even where we are today, because of the fact that we allowed both of our guards to come down when it comes to us, there may be boundaries that not maybe. There needs to be boundaries when it comes to people on the outside, right? Family, friends, even your children. There needs to be boundaries that come up. And even when you set boundaries between, your spouse. But when it comes to the things that hurt us, or when it comes to those things like we were just talking about that kind of leave a little bit of a twinge, that's up for discussion so that the goal here is that we want healing to happen on both ends so that when it comes to things like this that can muddy the waters or leave something up for discussion or leave a little bit of doubt. Because one of the things that I was reading here about social media in terms of like the damage that it makes on or puts on marriages is a lot of things that we talk about, in one-on-one sessions with other couples. And, when you're in the midst of it, it seems like it's not a big deal. But when you talk about social media, how easy is it to get on a platform and, type up an ex's name? What are they up to today? What are they doing today? Reconnecting with past relationships. We talked about having emotional affairs. We talked about comparison culture, and that can become problematic, right? Jealousy and monitoring. When I talked about looking at his phone or, checking his messages, there was a lot of that. I was in this phase of jealousy, and I was young too. So let's just remember that. That was 20 years ago, but I was young. So things that made me jealous were some very minuscule things that I look at now and I'm like, really? What are you getting, what are you getting jealous for that? And then it also reduces face-to-face connection with your spouse. So these are all things that damage, this union when you're trying to bring each other to this place of closeness. We can allow because it's you making the choice to allow social media to get into the center of those things. There has to be a choice. There has to be limitations. There has to be boundaries that need to be set so that you can create safety within your marital unit.
Yeah. What experts had found that the comparison thing is what brings some of the biggest separation, right? We constantly compare our marriage to others.
Yeah.
And then we lose sight of the blessing that's right in front of us, right? So we humbly know that we are a work in progress, so we stay on our knees and prayerful, right? One of the things that I have committed for 2026 is to spend some time. I pray often. I pray without ceasing, right? I pray in tongues. I pray in English. Don't pray in Spanish yet, but I will. But I stay in prayer. But in 2026, I've devoted some time to really humbling myself. First or Second Chronicles chapter 7, verse 14 says, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves, right? Pray and seek my face, I will heal their land. So that scripture stuck out to me, and humbling myself means getting down on my knees. If you watch any program about kings are included, most of the times when anybody comes in to meet the king, they put their hands on their chest and they bow to one knee. So how could I, when I'm going in front of my king, be so bold as to not want to humble myself? So I've start all my time in front of my Savior and doing my quiet times and being on my knees. And it creates a different relationship between my God and I, but I believe it also changes my wife's perspective of who I am, because I think I'll ask you. You've noticed, right? So, what are your thoughts about that? About knowing that your husband is taking his spirituality to the next level?
I mean, again, when you format the question when you ask the question about security, that's just another layer that's added onto that. So, I know that we talked about, a husband having a job and bringing in, financial security and this, that, and the other. But if you really think about it, if your husband is not bringing spiritual security into the home, then that also is a door left open, right? I feel secure knowing that, before we go to bed, he'll get up sometimes and, sometimes it'll be to, grab a little piece of candy or to, get the dog something or, whatever. And I'll be like, oh, where are you going? Because it's an opportunity for me to ask him to get me something like, oh, can you give me water? Can you da-da-da? But now when he gets up, he's like, I can't go to bed unless I pray. And we have this little nook area where he goes and he kneels and he prays. And so to me, that is just an extra layer of, spiritual security that he covers our home and, makes this place, a safer place. There's less worry. There's less anxiety. That word floated around our house for a long time, so much so that it was making Gianna like physically sick. And I feel like it's the power of prayer that's been, the key to all of that. In that he, in that he is putting his trust in God and, allowing to bear the weight of the worldly things in this world on his shoulders and laying it at the feet of Christ. And so, I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's good. It's good. All right. So, as we're starting to land this plane.
Yeah, because I have a 7-day challenge.
Healthy couples must set boundaries around media that protects your respect, your trust, your emotional intimacy. Intentional boundaries around technology and media help couples protect their connection and avoid unnecessary tension. So if you're not setting boundaries and you're having issues at home, I would take a look at your scroll time, and everybody has a way to find that. So I would recommend that you find how much time you're spending on social media, be transparent, and make yourself a goal. I'm all about setting goals. So be transparent, be intentional, be consistent, and make some goals for yourself. Hey, we just redid our
bucket list.
Our bucket list for in 2026.
Should we tell people what's on it?
Do we want to do like a whole podcast on bucket list?
No, because I don't think we can do a whole podcast on just our bucket list.
All right, then go ahead and share it then.
All right, here we go. You know what? Let me do the challenge first, and then we'll end with our bucket list.
All right, go ahead.
So for the 7-day challenge, and again, this might not be everybody, but it might be some people. When it comes to your scrolling, when it comes to your digital time, when it comes to, social media, we're going to do these, 5 things for a whole week. And I would hope that this first one is not anybody, because if you're doing that, then there needs to be some extramarital counseling that needs to be input here. But it says no negative posts about your spouse. Have I ever put a negative post out there about you? I don't think so. Never. As a matter of fact, speaking of posts, I should put on here, your spouse should post something positive about you every week.
That's good.
You don't post anymore.
Like Poppy doesn't post anything that's not Bible related.
He didn't even post anything about our anniversary.
Well,
like I had like a whole cute post and he didn't post anything.
Well, so here's the deal. You do this huge post and you put my name on it. And so they were supposed to go back and be like, oh man, 2 pictures. Love you, babe. Boop. That's it. It's almost like the giant and then me.
Intentionality, Velasquez. Anyways, okay.
Wait.
What?
Intentionality. So your birthday started a week before and ended this past Friday.
Yeah.
There was no intentionality in those 3 weeks of celebrating your birthday.
You're right, but we could post more about our thing. We take pictures and we do things, and like we never post things. Right. We could get better at that, guys. We could get better. Okay, limit social media during meals and conversations, guys.
Yeah, we don't do that at all.
No. If you're having dinner, that phone needs to be bye-bye. Needs to be somewhere.
Ooh.
Sometimes some people.
Okay, but I'm not on
That's
social.
so
Some
crazy coming
people-
from your mouth.
But I'm not.
Hold on, let me say it then, babe. Look, when we're at the table, no social media, no texting, no posting. Good one. You take the second one.
Ooh.
Gianna, shut up. Anyways, speak one affirmation to your spouse daily. Pray together. We talked about that at least once or twice a week. And replace comparison with gratitude.
It's good.
So every time you want to compare yourself when you're on social media, thank God. Like if when you're looking at that 4,000 square feet house because you have a 2,000 square foot house, be grateful that you have that 2,000 square foot house. There's a lot of people that are in apartments that would love to have a house. So just be grateful for those things. And so to end on our lovely note, we will give you our 2026 bucket list. Now, it doesn't have to happen in 2026, but it is our
Just
bucket list.
reconstructed from
So,
one that we did in the past.
I'm going to give you Lou's 5, and then I'll give you my 5. So Lou's 5 is he wants to visit the 31. Is it still 31? Didn't you visit one?
I think I want to start over.
Okay. He wants to visit the 31 football stadiums. Does this mean that you're going to be visiting the new Bears Stadium in Indiana?
In Arlington Heights, Illinois, yeah.
Is that where it's going?
That better be where it's going.
Okay. Or he's going to be on front page of.
Yeah, no, I won't. I'm not going to Hammond. No
Okay.
way.
Sorry for those that live in Indiana. Anyway, the second one is he wants to go to Puerto Rico to lay a headstone for his dad. He wants to learn how to ride a motorcycle, in which I said that I would join the class with him.
She's a show off. It's because she knows how to ride. So she wants to show off.
It's just fun riding those little motorcycles.
Whatever. Move on to the next one.
Anyways, Gianna's going to love this one.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
He wants to do a family vacation with Lewis.
Disney!
If that's where my baby wants to go. That's
Oh my God.
Yeah!
And then he wants to visit Niagara Falls
Niagara Falls.
because we've never been to Niagara Falls.
And
Okay.
it's one of the
Where's that at?
5 wonders of the
Alaska?
world, right?
Yeah.
No, that's Nevada. Where is that at?
Niagara Falls, isn't that like near New York?
Yeah, Canada. That might be in Canada.
It's like the border of
Google.
the east.
Where's Niagara Falls?
Oh, wow.
Oh my God, we're doing this.
Between New York and Canada.
Yeah, see, look at me.
Why did I think it was in Alaska?
Because you don't, I don't know. You
Ooh,
don't-
mommy, don't talk about things we don't know.
Okay, whatever. All right, my bucket list is Bora Bora.
Oh, Ontario. Sorry, continue.
I wanna go to Bora Bora. I want us to do ballroom dancing lessons. I would like for us to do a pottery or a cooking class together. And they had some really cool ones downtown, so I'd like to do that. I want to do a train ride to Switzerland.
What?
From Rome.
From like Rome or somewhere in Europe where you can take a train and you can take it to Switzerland. It looks super beautiful and I want to do it. And last but certainly not least, I must hug an elephant or a baby elephant. I mean, I'll take both.
Ooh.
What?
Right.
Have you seen those videos recently?
No.
The tourists, where they go get that done. When the
Elephant?
when the day is done, the elephants are chained and are left there so that they don't walk away, so that you can go back and pet them.
Well, be aware because if Liz goes,
Those elephants will be set free.
gonna set you free, little elephant. Anyways, that's our bucket list. Put one together. It doesn't take much time. We literally did it at dinner and had fun with it. So there you go. There's a little date tip for you to do at your dating table. Thank you for joining us on episode 10. We will see you back on episode 11. We love y'all. Be good and love each other.
Be good.
Yeah, be
Be
good.
good to each other.
Anyways,
God
on
bless.
my bucket list, I want to go to Disney.
Nobody cares about your bucket list, Gianna. Good day.
Good day.